place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain and I can't control. 'Cause I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain and I can't control. 'Cause I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain and I can't control. 'Cause I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. So set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. 'Cause I want more of you, God. 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 There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be. There's no place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love.
As y'all know, I'm really thrilled about talking in front of people. But, anyway, I got here this morning. I was like, "What the heck?" Charles and Peter are both here, and Pete asked me to preach. It's whatever God wanted, and that's what we're going to do. So,
Amen.
today I want to talk about the parable of the prodigal son, and I don't know. I've just been hearing things about this all week, and just I don't know. God bringing things to my attention, and when He asked me to talk, that's what I want to talk about. So we're in Luke 15. If y'all want to follow along, and so if you go back one chapter and forward one chapter, it'll give you a little more context because the Bible wasn't written in chapters, right? So if you back up and you see the whole thing, but right before Luke chapter 15, we're talking about believing all to follow Christ, and then we're talking about if salt is not salty. So then it goes into these different things that are lost. So we're going to talk about first the parable of the lost sheep, and start in verse 1. Then all the tax collectors and sinners drew near to him to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes complained, saying, "This man receives sinners and eats with them." So he spoke this parable to them, saying, "What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he loses one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one that was lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he has come home, he calls together his friends and neighbors, saying to them, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found the sheep which was lost.' I say to you that likewise there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 just persons who need no repentance." So the first story is the lost sheep, and it's the shepherd that goes after the 99. It's kind of the picture of when we lose our way, and God's always looking to redeem us. He's looking for us. He'll go after us and leave the 99 to go get us. Let's go to the second one. It's the parable of the lost coin. It says, "For what woman having 10 silver coins, if she loses one coin, does not light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? And when she has found it, she calls her friends and neighbors, saying together, Rejoice with me, for I have found the piece which I have lost. Likewise I say to you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents." So I kind of had this happen to me this week. I mowed for my grandma, and she paid me some money yesterday, and it was $20, so big paycheck. But I didn't have my wallet on me, so I put it in my pocket. And then this morning I was like, man, where's that $20? I found it was in the washer. So I was thinking about this parable. I was like, man, it's really, we've all had that where we lose something and we're like, where'd that go, you know? So the next one is parable of the lost son. So we've had the lost sheep and the lost coin, and now the lost son. Then he says, a certain man who had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falls to me. So he divided to them his livelihood. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, journeyed to a far country, and there he wasted his possessions with prodigal living. So how many of y'all know what prodigal living is? It's loose living. He basically squandered whatever he had. You know, he got his inheritance from his dad. The first thing I see here is that it was the younger son asking for what would fall to him. And that's kind of strange to me that in that culture, the older son got everything, but his father didn't argue with him. He just gave him what he wanted. And sometimes I feel like God gives us what we want, even though it's probably not the best thing, to teach us a lesson. So he squandered it all in prodigal living, and when he had spent it all, there arose a severe famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And doesn't that happen every time we spend everything we got, something happens and we need it, right? We'll go out and buy stuff that's fun, and then we need our money. It says, but when he had spent it all, there was a severe famine in the land, and he began to be in want. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. He would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. So that's another thing that's interesting too, is that he was sent to work with swine. And in that culture, Jews they didn't touch them, they didn't touch the pigs, they didn't want anything to do with that. So for him to go to that level, it either means that he was either stooped that low with his morals, or he was just that hungry that he had to go do that. But he longed to fill his stomach, he longed to eat what the pigs were eating. He said, but when he came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So here he's saying that he would rather just go back and work for his father than to be where he's at right now. The people that were working for his dad had more than what he had. They were taken care of better than what he was. So he's going to go back and he's going to talk to his father. It says he arose and he came to his father. When he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet, and bring the fatted calf here and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this is my son was dead and was alive again. He was lost and was found, and they began to be merry. Okay, so he gets the best robe and he puts it on him. He gets his ring and puts it on his finger. So the ring in that time was kind of like symbolizing it's your son. That's what you would sign letters with and all that stuff. That's saying he's still my son and I'm taking him back. It says put sandals on his feet because he's not a slave anymore. says, bring the fatted calf here and kill it. So they're going to have a feast and they're going to be married. It says, now his older son was in the field, and as he came and he drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. He called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, your brother has come, and because he has received him safe and sound. Your brother has killed the fatted calf. But he was angry and would not go in. Therefore his father came out and pleaded with him. So he answered and said to his father, lo, these many years I have been serving you. I have never transgressed your commandment at any time. And yet you never gave me a young goat that I might make merry with my friends. So he's complaining, right? He's complaining because the father had never done that for him. He's saying, I've been faithful this whole time. How many times do we do that? You know, we say, well, we're faithful this whole time. Here's this other person it's not good. They're being blessed and I'm not. So basically that's what he's saying. It says, but as soon as the son of yours came, who has devoured your livelihood with harlots, you killed the fatted calf for him. So he's saying, I mean, he came back and he's already squandered all his inheritance and you're just receiving it back. It says, and he said to him, son, you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. It was right that we should make merry and be glad, for your brother was dead and was alive again, and was lost and was found. So there's three different things that I see in this. I'm going way faster than what I thought because I've drank coffee this morning. I'm nervous. There's three different things that I see in this with all three different stories. And the first one is that our way is not always the best way. So with the first story, the parable of the lost sheep, the sheep just wandered off. You know, it was going off on its own way. Who knows what the deal was? It was probably innocent, you know. And the son, it wasn't really as innocent. It was more rebellion. You know, sometimes we do both of those things, and our way is not always the right way. Proverbs 21:2 says, well, can somebody read Proverbs 21:2?
I've heard. I'll read it.
Awesome.
21:2?
Yeah,
This is the NIV, I think.
that's fine.
All a man's ways seem right to him, but the Lord weighs the heart.
Thank you. So that's one of the verses I thought of when we're thinking about going our own way. The man's ways seem right to him, and the Lord weighs his heart. There's another Proverbs 14:12. It says that a man's ways are right in his own eyes, but in the end they lead to destruction. You know, so if we follow after what we want, a lot of times we'll just be going into destruction. So and then there's another verse that says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and all this will be added to you. So if we just seek God, he'll take care of all this stuff. You know, if this prodigal son would just stay faithful, God was going to take care of it. So the second thing, so that was the first thing. Our way is not always the best way. The second thing is not everyone is always glad when you're blessed. So if you look at, I was thinking about the parable of the lost coin, and it says that she called her friends saying, neighbors, rejoice with me, for I have found the piece which I have lost. Do you think that all of our neighbors rejoiced with her? Do you think that maybe some of them were like, well, she already had 10. You know, she had 10 of them, big deal, she lost one. You know, she's already rich. And then you think about the older brother, he wasn't happy either. He was upset. We have somebody else that's willing to read Romans 12, 9 through 15.
Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Is this the right one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord.
And what was that, verse 15? I'm sorry.
Were you going to verse 15?
Yeah, verse 15.
rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, giving to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep.
That's what I was going to get at. Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those that weep. We're supposed to be with our brothers and sisters, whether they're going through good stuff or bad. We're supposed to be going through it with them and be glad for them. So, and God has unlimited blessings. A lot of times we think that it's not like somebody else is getting your blessing. You can have a blessing too. God has unlimited blessings. So just because somebody else is getting blessed doesn't mean that you're not going to eventually. So that was, this notebook's not the best. So the first thing was our way is not always the best way, and the second one is not everyone is glad when you're blessed. And the third thing is God is looking to restore you. So that's kind of the overall message of the whole thing, is God's looking to restore you. The sheep was lost, and he was looking for the sheep. The woman was looking for the coin, and his son, and the dad was looking for his son. It says, while he was still, what does it say? And he arose and came to his father, but when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. So he was looking for him, even though he'd been gone for a long time. I mean, who knows if he had word that he was going to be back or whatever, but he was looking for his son still. So what do we need to do to be restored? If God's looking for us to be restored, we just need to ask. We just need to ask and repent. He said, where is it? He said, it says, when he came to himself and he said, how many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and I'll say, Father, I've sinned against heaven and before you, and I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So all he wanted to do was just go ask and say, Father, I've sinned against you. He doesn't even want to be a son anymore. He just wants to be with his father. So I guess that's the three things, but there's a 3B. I guess it's when God restores, he does more than what we think. So when you look at the sheep, it says that he picked up the sheep. It says when he has found it, he laid it on his shoulders, rejoicing when he comes home. So it kind of makes it sound like he carried the sheep home on his shoulders, not like he just found it and hurried back. And in the parable of the son, he gives him a ring, he gives him a robe, he gives him everything. He restores him completely. Instead of just making him a servant like he asked for, he did more than what the son was asking for. So God wants us to be sons and daughters. He wants us to be restored. And we've all been in places to where we've either lost something spiritually that we want to get back, or we just strayed, or maybe we wandered off like a sheep or whatever. But he wants to restore us. That's all I've got. Let's see if you want to come here and sing. I know I'm short, but sometimes we don't have to have a big sermon. I don't have as many stories as Pete does.
Great job. Thank you.